was all your fault. Had you made me study harder, had you paid attention at me, had you planned my future bright, I would not have been in this situation. I would have been at place where I always wanted to be. Some place where there are no feelings of regret. Could you just stop flipping those Instagram pages while I'm talking to you? Could you just stop clicking on that next funny YouTube video? Could you just stop before initiating a new conversation with her? Hi, kaisi hai? Which means, dear, how are you? Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests.
Good evening.
Good evening.
When will you realize it was all your fault? When will you? The person shouting in the above lines could be you, me, or us. Only if we have the liberty to go back in time and shout at ourselves, we would have changed it all. Not by changing the family we were born into, not by changing the amount of resources available to us, but by changing the time that we have lost, but by changing the mistakes we have made, habits we have developed. We would have changed them all. I remember how during my engineering college days, I was always excited to rush back to my house, drop my bag in its corner, get rid of my shoes, only to play that endless Counter-Strike for hours. With people around the world, 30, 40, 100 rounds of non-stop gaming, at the which and screen would go blank. And I could see my face, my reflection on the screen, which reminded me of my purpose, which reminded me of my existence, which reminded me of how I had screwed up with my time. And I was left with only one single question. When will you, Umang? When will you? A question that always pondered me of how I could have utilized my entire time rather than playing. A question that would remain in my mind only till her message popped up. I replied to the conversation I initiated earlier. मैं तो सही हूँ, तुम सुनाओ. Which means, I'm good dear, how about you? The moment her message popped up in my phone, I would immediately click it without giving a single thought to the time that is I'm going to spend. My time, my precious seconds, my next precious minutes, my next precious hours. Just to have those long conversations till setting up my status as insomniac at 3 a.m. in the morning and waking up with a good morning dear message to her. But with the regret on my face of the time that I had lost. With one single question in my mind. When will you, Umang? When will you? Now let me ask you, how many of you have the habit of reaching out to your phone the moment you wake up? Probably most of us, and I was no different. I would grab my phone, check my time, check WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, LinkedIn, pics, links to text. I would check them all. And it would go on and on and on until I have wasted all my time. The time that I would never be able to recover back, the time that has went by. Now, people who are living with the expression of apna time aayega, that means our time will come. Let me get that straight for you. Our time will never come. The time is already here. The time most of it has already passed by. All you could do is grab the remaining time and make the best use of it. I took the first step when I uninstalled Instagram from my phone. When I stopped playing that endless Counter-Strike. When I stopped picking up my phone in the morning and started watching that wall clock. Just to keep the track of my time. In the initial phases, my brain revolted. My brain complained, Umang, we were having fun. Why to stop? My brain complained. But that is the moment when we need to take control. Nah, son, this might be boring. But this needs to be done. Not for your future, not for my future, but for our future. For people posting 10 years challenge from their past to current time. Think of your future challenge. Where would you be 10 years down the line? Think about it. Right now, we are living in our current timeline. So let's start shouting at ourselves as much as we can. Because time and tide wait for no man. So let's shout on ourselves. Just wake up from the dream and face the reality The time has already come. The time is here when we need to step up and start doing the things we have already waiting for so long. Start doing the things we have always wondering and want to do for. So just pick up your phone and uninstall that app, that thing from your life that you have been wasting time for this so long. Just stop looking at your phone in the morning and start looking at that wall clock that has been hung in front of you, and just notice and do what it does. Keep going. My friends, time is already running at faster pace than we can ever imagine. Time is already running. I have started utilizing most of it, and I hope after my speech you will start listening to and you will start doing your task too. But when will you, Toasties? When will you? Thank you. Over to Master.